gotta run and check on a couple classrooms, bathrooms, so you guys can...
Yes!
Let's bring it down.
Yes.
Bring it down.
Okay, bye.
Bye.